Horizons, Perspectives on Psychedelics. We are in the glorious New York City in Cooper Union. It's a cool environment. Check out the building, full of psychedelic luminaries. An awesome fall weekend, 4-day conference, famous, comedian there. Everybody that you meet around, including our camera, everybody has a story. That's Marisa. It's just a reunion of, it's like putting a bunch of kids in this Disneyland park and let them play for free in all the toys all day long. That's the kind of thing we like to do. We're conference nerds, we're psychedelic nerds, and we're happy with this edition because this is the 13th edition of Horizons. The conference grew double. They had 2 extra days of continuing education credits for the medical community and a whole forum on sexual ethics. Plus, Chacruna held a super cool private women's dinner, and Marisa herself, again, our special guest today, behind the cameras, held the Psychedelic Leadership Summit. So, talking about summits, that's the good, entry point for me to talk to Liana, who's my dear colleague and friend. I don't know how to speak her last name. It's Liana.
Liana Sananada Gillooly. You'll get it one day, Thea.
Gillooly.
We're working on it. Yeah.
All right. Liana is a kind of friend, kind of mentor. She knows a lot of things. She's connected to the cannabis industry. She's in the psychedelic field. And she's always traveling somewhere and taking some mysterious pictures and being influential behind the scenes and also being slippery. So thank you for accepting to join us here. And
she finally roped me into one of these. Yeah.
Exactly. After going after her at several conferences. So I just want to talk about what are we planning in MAPS, as I also have part-time jobs as public education and cultural specialist at MAPS. And MAPS is holding a very cool conference in Austin. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Thea. I really appreciate this woman here, and she's had some wonderful input and feedback on our event, which I don't always listen to, but we're working on that. But yeah, so MAPS has decided to produce a series of psychedelic science summits. Our next big psychedelic science conference is scheduled for springtime of 2022. This is after, we hope, having MDMA-assisted therapy approved by the FDA is the next big global conference, and we're planning to have several thousand people, maybe 5 or 6 or 7,000 people. So leading into that, MAPS decided to produce a set or a series of smaller summits in cities around the country that don't have as much access to psychedelic content and information and education. And so we decided, we've done SOAP in Pittsburgh, and now we're heading into Austin, Texas, November 1st through 3rd. It's going to be about a 600 to 700 person event. And it will be 2 full days of programming. Much like Horizons, it'll be a single track, single stage.
Why Austin? Any reasons in particular?
Yeah.
Stay back. You guys.
Austin has been very good to us. I keep going back to Austin. There's some really loud sirens happening that's getting louder. So I apologize for that. Welcome to New York City, everybody. This is how it is here. So Austin has been very good to us. I work for MAPS. I work on fundraising for MAPS. We have several really empowered supporters who are all based in Austin. I started going there with others on our team and producing some events and bringing together community. And there's some luminaries there and some visionaries. There's people who are on the front lines of health and wellness. The culture there is really embracing these things, and it just seems like this little beacon of light amongst a sea of red in the state of Texas. And so we're really happy to be bringing this conversation and this community to Austin. And I look today, and over half the attendees so far are from the state of Texas. So that's very inspiring to us as well. And yeah, what else?
Yeah, it's interesting because also Texas is the home state of the peyote gardens, which is a topic of deep concern. We're also going to have a speaker here in Horizons addressing the problem of shortage of peyote and of peyote conservation. That ties a lot to my own interest and my own work. We're doing next week the launch of our film, The Peyote Files, that talks about the problem, of the increase of interest in peyote versus the decline of wild population. So I very much cherish that MAPS is bringing Sandra Iron-Rowe, who has a prominent role in Native American church, to talk about the problem of peyote conservation in Texas in this conference. What are the other highlights that we can mention to our public?
Yeah, so we're going to have a bunch of researchers there talking of various subjects. We'll have a research update from Hefter Research Institute with George Greer. We have Allison Fiducia on our team. We're talking about neuroscience and psychedelics. I'm really excited also about our policy panel. We'll have representatives from Decriminalize Nature Oakland. We'll have somebody who's leading the fight to decriminalize cannabis in Texas there as well. And we'll have Betty Aldworth from Students for a Sensible Drug Policy. We have some hard, heavy hitters like Tim Ferriss is going to be doing a live podcast with Marcela Otalora on how to become an MDMA therapist. So that's exciting. We have Dr. Carl Hart and the Mushroom Lorax himself, Paul Stamets, will be presenting. And there's a bunch of other awesome Zendo content from Sarah Gale, and I'm sure I'm missing a lot of great people, but Bia will be there, of course.
I'll be there. Chacruna is a co-sponsor or promotional partner. So what do you think, what is in your mind as like maybe one or two of the most pressing issues in our communities in the field of psychedelics today?
Yeah, so one thing that we're really looking at is how can MAPS play a role in setting a prime example for the responsible stewardship of psychedelics into our culture. And there's a lot of conversations right now around commodification, around all sorts of private interests coming in, profit-motivated organizations popping up in this space, and there's also a big concern about the delivery mechanism and the cultural delivery mechanism of psychedelics into our society and our culture. And so I think those conversations, and then all the policy conversations as well. There's different styles of decriminalization efforts happening. We have in Oregon, they're looking at decriminalizing mediated psilocybin experiences, not just decriminalizing but legalizing, so creating a legal framework for that. We have the statewide initiatives that is being developed in California as well to decriminalize psilocybin, and then obviously the citywide initiatives like in Oakland and Denver. So how we're coming together and participating as part of the larger fabric of the war on drugs, truly rooting in the fact that this movement is rooted in social justice. And then there's just so much exciting research. We're at the first inning of the game here. We're just barely beginning to understand how psychedelics are working on the brain and how they can impact our health and our wellness and help people who are suffering. And so there's such a rich and juicy time right now for our whole community. So we're hoping to bring those dialogues forward and to gather together people all working towards the same goals here.
Yeah, I like it also that you bring this topic of partnership. I see all these conferences as part of a global effort on the same direction. Tomorrow we'll have a panel about economic models for the expansion of psychedelics. I am going to be on that panel. I bought a suit to look more responsible, and we're going to talk about commodification and alternatives, and what are we doing to give back to society, and how are we reciprocating indigenous peoples and people of color. And we also have organized ourselves Psychedelic Liberty Summit, and so I guess it's a summit phase. Marissa had the Psychedelic Leadership Summit, MAPS has the Psychedelic Science Summit, Chacruna has the Psychedelic Liberty Summit. I guess we all want to summit together and meet people and feel connected. So thanks for listening to us. Thanks for being part of this movement. Keep the hope up. protect the Amazon, say no to walls, and say yes to bridges. And we send our love from South America to our brothers in North America. It's great to be here. It's a fabulous day in New York City, and we send our love to you.
Woo!